A huge new ride has been officially announced to come to a theme park here in the UK, and it could be amongst some of the best of its kind in the world. We've been given a first look at various new rides and coasters opening this year, including that extremely bumpy wing coaster, Rapterra, which somehow looks worse on its POV. And on top of that, there has been an interesting purchase of a theme park by a group that owns a few theme parks here in the UK, and it's really not what you expect. As you can tell, it has been a rather jam-packed week, because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, hello and welcome back to the world's best series that has the acronym TPWITP, this past week in theme parks, where we look at all the news worldwide that has happened at theme parks in the past 7 days. Pretty self-explanatory. And as said, it has been busy. Hella busy. So if you want to skip to specific stories, use the chapters in the video progress bar below, and use the subscribe button if you haven't already. It would be greatly appreciated. And I appreciate you staying tuned for yet another episode if this is not the first one you are watching. And if it isn't the first you're watching, you'll know what I'm about to do, because it is time. It's quickfire news time, starting over in America with some refurbishments. Mamba at Worlds of Fun, a Morgan-manufactured hypercoaster, is undergoing a huge repaint, and it is now done. Look how lovely it looks. I don't really know why Mamba originally was red, but the logo had a green snake in it. A bit stupid. But yeah, they've repainted it green and it looks amazing. Talking of repaints, Wildcat at Frontier City, a Six Flags theme park, is also getting a repaint. Tremors at Silverwood theme park is undergoing its seismic upgrade. Still absolutely love that term instead of just saying a refurbishment. Seismic. And a photo has been shared of this being almost complete, and it just looks like there's snow on the tracks. The Beast at Kings Island has been announced to get brand new track for the 2025 season, and considering this is the world's longest wooden roller coaster, I'm really glad to see that they are keeping it around. This thing is going to be even more of a beast when it reopens. Six Flags Great Escape have invested in a new control system for their ride Flashback, and that has been delivered, and it looks like a container. Yeah, Twizzler's Twisted Gravity at Hersheypark has now had the top part of this S&S Scream and Swing topped off. I think the best part of that ride is still just going to be the name, officially known as Twizzler's Twisted Gravity TM Giant Swing. What a bloody mouthful. An image has been shown of the brand new Legoland Shanghai hotel, and it looks like massive Lego bricks. What a surprise! Fire Runner at Lost Island over in America again has had a trailer released for its trains, and just to sort of hype up the ride like a trailer's supposed to do. And it does look like it's going to be amazing. Apparently they're just waiting for a crane to be on site before they can start vertical construction on the track. Magic Springs, a theme and water park, has announced the official retirement of their wooden roller coaster, Arkansas Twister. Taking a final run, and they're going to have a tribute for it and stuff. Why are we losing so many coasters without a prior announcement? We should just bring them all back again and just undo the deconstruction. Kentucky Kingdom in Kentucky has made progress on its brand new huge overhaul area and have showed various different repaints of certain roller coaster and ride trains. Isle of Discovery is set to get an Egyptian themed Mack hypercoaster in the next coming weeks. And talking of Mack rides, the launch coaster that has been built over in Portugal at Aqua Show, which seems to be mostly a water park, so the fact they're getting a Mack launch coaster is crazy. But that track has now been completed, and we can see that top hat style element off the first launch, and then the rest of the crazy looking ride layout. I really want to go and ride that. It looks insane. But we travelled all over the place with that quickfire segment, and it was insane. But now we're going to travel over to America to start our normal segment. Doesn't have a name, but we'll run with it, as we have something quite scary and actually kind of serious to report on first. That being a fire at Epcot in Disney World Orlando that was spotted very, very recently. It was located in the France section of the park, and it was sort of behind these buildings, and it could have been on a dark ride or something, so obviously there was a massive panic. But luckily it was found to be one of the back of house buildings that was on fire, and no one was harmed in that incident, so That's good, although it did look like a very big fire from the smoke cloud that came off of it. Something else that seems quite good is the fact that Dollywood have teased a brand new sort of ride coming very soon, and as much as they don't say exactly what it is, it does seem very likely that it might be a flying theatre. A lot like the one at SeaWorld Orlando we saw last week, or a lot like any of the flying theatres around the world. But that is not confirmed, that is rumour and speculation. Don't take my word for that. But people's word that we have been unsure of is with Rapterra at King's Dominion, because this B&M wing coaster, brand new for 2025, opened for a preview event a few days ago. And it does look like a fun layout, and there was a lot of people going on it and reviewing it, saying it was smooth. And then you look at the POVs of the ride. Is it smooth? We saw from offboard on testing footage that it was genuinely bumping up and down, like, and on ride it somehow looks even worse. But I don't know, because I haven't been on it. Although I have been on a new B&M wing coaster at Chessington, and even that's bumpy, and it reaches nowhere near the speed that Rapterra does. In a similar way to Mandrill, maybe it is just the fact that it does bump up and down, it's just not rough, and that's why it's still smooth, but not too comfortable. The downfall of B&M really does need to be studied, and we also need to study the downfall of an individual who works at Universal in Orlando, because you know, the Epic Universe team previews are on and no one's allowed to film anything. There's been videos leaked of inside the park. I won't show you them for spoiler purposes, but there are a few video clips of people walking in and out of the portals and around the areas and stuff, which obviously no phones, no photos, no videos. And they've done that. Watching that video, I've managed to witness someone's job loss live, and I don't really know what to say about it, as I don't with something that seems pretty major, but I'm still a little bit confused by it. Hersheypark and Parks Reunidos, if I said that right, are a company that own a collective amount of different theme parks and amusement parks, mainly around America, such as Silver Dollar City, Dollywood, Kentucky Kingdom, and now they have bought out another company that owns theme parks, this is getting confusing now, called Palace Entertainment, which owns a few parks such as Lake Compounce and Kennywood. So Hersheypark purchasing Palace Entertainment means that Hersheypark is now the biggest family entertainment company in the world, if it wasn't already. And as much as this isn't as major as the Six Flags and Cedar Fair sort of merge, because that was huge, this is still a big thing, or some would say massive, for the theme park industry. And speaking of companies and parks being bought out by other companies and parks, there's a little bit of an easier one to talk about here. The fact the Looping Group has acquired a theme park in France, and I've actually been to this theme park as well. Now, the Looping Group, if you are unaware, is a group that owns various theme parks, even here in the UK, such as Drayton Manor and Pleasurewood Hills. They also have quite a few others around the world, such as Isla Magica, Park Bagatelle, and another one that is about to be added to that list is Park St. Paul, probably one of the strangest theme parks I've ever been to, and it has this really cool wooden roller coaster, and everything else is really weird, but I'm very intrigued to see what this means for that park. Sticking in France, Disneyland Paris and the Disney Imagineers, the Lion King log flume, they have released a model of what this is going to look like, and it looks really, really good actually. It pretty much just looks like what Splash Mountain or Tiana's Bayou Adventure would look like if they rethemed it to Lion King instead, but it should have a different layout inside and have some different kind of theming, obviously, and I'm sure it will be good fun. But all the Americans have been complaining that they're not getting it, and we are, despite the fact our weather's a lot worse. We go on Chapas at Phantasialand in -2. We go on Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach in -5. But yeah, I think that is going to be a hit at Disneyland Paris. As I think a new roller coaster coming to another theme park in France that has just opened will be a hit too. Apologies for the poor French here, but Le Défi de Dragon at Jardin d'Acclimatation. You wouldn't think I did French at GCSE. This is a Gerstlauer family launch coaster, and it looks like quite a simple layout. You know, you've got a nice launch and you've got these nice sort of airtime hills and twists and turns, and then after quite a short layout you do enter into a brake run, and you think, oh, we're just going to go straight in the station. No, there's a turntable in which you then experience a swing launch and do more of the ride. Now, this clearly isn't a very big park, and that's why they've built this very low capacity coaster, but it looks really unique. I don't think there's another coaster that just before it goes into the station decides, oh no, we're spinning around and going around a different part of this ride. But in all fairness, it does look very, very fun, and I'm sure it's a great fit for that park. Gyrosswing have also been making another family launch coaster in Belgium this time, that being Mecaladon at Walibi Belgium, and that has actually started testing now. They've given us footage to have a look at, and as you can see, it goes over the hills and just like round those S-curves, and it genuinely looks like such a fun ride. Try not to use the word fun in Possible Edition, but I genuinely think with all the theming that they've sort of shown us in the past, and obviously the dockyard area being renovated as a whole, it probably will be one of the best rides at Walibi Belgium, up there with Tiki Waka. Who cares about Conda? But yeah, I really want to get out there. It looks really well themed, and it just looks like a whole heap of cool. You thought I was going to say fun. But tell you what looks a little bit disappointing so far. The new ride that has opened for previews again at Europa Park. Ed and Edda's Grand Prix Adventure. Still struggle to get that name right every time. An indoor Mack rides shooter ride that is basically situated on this massive motion platform, and it just spins round, and you've got different scenes, and you like flip round in your cars. I've spoken about it before, and we're actually getting one in the UK at Paulton's Park. But with this one, unlike Paulton's Park, because they have promised sort of like loads of physical theming and just like the screens embedded into it, Ed and Edda's Grand Prix Adventure genuinely just looks like a screen-based ride, and that is it. Which for somewhere like Europa Park is a real big shame, because they're really good at theming, and just to see sort of just screen-based dark ride usage all the time on this thing, crazy. I'm not sure if they will, but I really do hope that they do go back and maybe add more theming, because it is just the preview, so maybe it's just very under construction still. But I'll leave that until I go and visit at some point, because again, I really want to go and see that, even if it does look slightly disappointing right now. But one or two rides, I guess, that I will be experiencing this year are Yoy at Walibi Holland. The two RMC single rail coasters, and of course they tested quite a few weeks back now, but now we actually have a side-by-side POV of both the different layouts, and I really do like how different they are to most normal RMC Raptors. It was one of its first test runs, so I can assume that's why it's a little bit slow, because it probably will speed up a lot, because there's already people in the comments going, it's slow, it's unimaginative, it's boring. That's enthusiast for you. I'm excited to see the reviews of that when it does open though. We're now going to commence travel to the UK, where we actually have quite a few major stories, and I don't know how the UK has so many stories every week, but we do. Starting with the fact that Thorpe Park have changed Project Pivot very slightly. Their previous plan to take over half of the beach they have, and they were going to sort of turn it into this stage area with loads of different, I don't know, benches and all that jazz, but they've actually decided to make the stage smaller and add a few things and take out a few things as well. So basically just sort of downscaled it slightly. It's crazy to think that budgets have hit so low at Merlin that they're having to downscale a stage and some seating. What a world we live in. Legoland have also opted to change their project for their refreshed entrance area, and the way they'll be doing that will be changing. I think everything is still supposed to be happening, but they're just going to do the sign at the front first and then do the rest later, because the very iconic entrance sign that says Legoland Windsor is already gone, despite the fact the park is open. Imagine turning up to somewhere like Disneyland and the castle isn't there. This is the same, but on a much worse scale. The Rocket Rollercoaster 54321 Blast Off at Lightwater Valley, just full government named it. A travelling Pinfari coaster that opened at the park last year in May, and they sort of, you know, made it out to be this big thing. They marketed it, oh yes, it's going to be awesome, we have this big coaster. It's already gone. Less than a year later. That is really funny though, because even Eagle's Claw, the flat ride, is gone, and they've replaced it with this. Just incredible stuff at Lightwater Valley. A park we haven't talked about in this series before is Pleasure Beach in Skegness, and they have teased what seems to be a new dark ride that they're going to be introducing, which is really strange. And they posted this teaser on their Instagram, and it's very cryptic, and it looks a bit like dinosaur theme, but also not. I'm very confused, but fair play to them. If they put the effort in and actually put some theming in and stuff, it could be a really good dark ride. As will be one of the world's best flat rides that is coming to a UK theme park and has been confirmed in the past week. And that is a huge Gyrosswing, 138 feet tall, an £8 million investment on the Bowlerdrome site at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Yes, they are actually getting the Gyrosswing. Set to open in 2026, this ride has literally just been announced, and it's going to have this sort of really nice snake golden theme. where have I seen that before? But no, genuinely, we have some Gyrosswings in the UK already. You might have been on one, such as Maelstrom at Drayton Manor, or I know it's not the same, but Cyclonator at Paulton's Park. They're both really fun rides, quite intense, and they do have over-the-shoulder restraints, so it's a little bit restrictive, and especially for me being so small, it really does hurt my shoulders when I ride it. But these Intamin ones do not have over-the-shoulders, they have lap bars, and the size of them, the way it can swing all the way up to about 138 feet, the sheer sense of scale when you walk past that and you walk underneath it and everything. I can't wait to have one of these in the UK. The one at Leesburg called Loki is literally my favourite flat ride in the world, just because of how intense it is and just the way you're so free and the airtime you get and everything. I just love it so much. So the fact we're getting one in Blackpool Pleasure Beach is going to be insane. Alongside that announcement, they did give us a look at some of the River Caves refurbishment and also the fact that Norbot is going to come to Wallace & Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic. Let's go! And it has also been uncovered by a Ride Rater article that they have also lost £2 million in the past year. Let's have our fingers crossed that this £8 million Gyrosswing is enough to bring back that money. What do you think to the Gyrosswing coming to the UK? What do you think of any of this news? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Bye bye now.